Hi everyone, it's Evelyn. It's 5:46 on the clock, which is perfect because a lot came up today about the 4 and the 6 and the 5 in the middle. It is the 5 of the Hierophant, the 46 of the 6 of Cups, these sweet innocent children loving each other, and freedom of the innocent ones. As I just turned 47, which is the 7 of Cups, of having choices, heaven in your eyes, synchronicities, and lots of things that you love, things you have a lot of affection for. So very special readings today because I did my messages of the day a little differently today. I was going for a masculine energy for the first one, and then the second one I made more of a feminine energy. And boy, did some great messages come up with those. So definitely watch the two messages of the day. The first one will be for the masculine and the second for the feminine. And then I have the read on the table, which is just an abbreviated of my 7-deck read. It's just the SIRIAN Starseed deck and the Rider-Waite for clarifiers. And we're going to do that first. We're going to do in the order that I did them. This is starting from the 5th until today. I did the feminine read today. Excuse me if I cough a little bit. I was just out jogging, so. All right. So let's see where we are. We're going to roll the die. Go ahead and take a few deep breaths on your own. I have frankincense and myrrh burning today. A very nice smell. And I was using the note C sharp as well to clear, especially for lower back energies today. That was coming up, C sharp, and that'll come up in the message. So here is the first read on the table. Again, the SIRIAN Starseed deck is the main deck, and then the Rider-Waite as clarifiers. And yeah, let's roll the die first too. Let's see where I have my die. The twin flames. Today is November 8th, and the number 8 came up really significantly today. So there's messages about that too, and of course election day and all that. I really wasn't getting political stuff coming up, although there may be some subtle messages that came through that may mean something to you for sure. So let's roll the die for the twin flames, November 8th, 2023, election day. All right, we have Leo coming up over here. So, of course, all about the child and the leader in Leo. And then we have Saturn energies coming up here, which is Capricorn. And then we have the number 7, which is July. It's Cancer, which July is also going into Leo, but we have Leo already. So Cancer and Leo with Capricorn in the middle. Capricorn is, so it's not actually Capricorn, it's Saturn. So perhaps some restrictive type of energies are coming up here. And again, lots of that kind of energy will come up regarding what's going on today. But we have July and August were coming up in one of the messages too. And personally, for me, going back to the Cancer and Leo energies, which actually there's a common theme of the Cancer to Leo energies. So you'll, take your own spin on whatever comes through for you today. And then Capricorn, so we have Cancer and Capricorn are both cardinals, and then Leo is fixed. And of course, Cancer is all about the home and family, that crab-like energy of wanting to protect yourself, being insecure around crowds, perhaps. And the key and the boomerang. The 7 is the quiet before the storm. 7, 8, lay them straight, but we have 87 here, which 78 is also the 10 of Pentacles, which can refer to heaven on earth. And then 87 today was also coming up as synchronicities, as being the reflection of that. Okay, so this first one on the table was cut. The SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut at 719, which is the 7 of the Chariot, the 19 of the Sun. And this was very oriented towards the physical union, also for the twins. Okay. I finished clarifying at 7:30, which is the Chariot and the Home, or the Union. And the major arcana here were Abundance and Higher Self in the read. Abundance is the Empress. And then we had, after the read, Reflection, Alchemy, Indigo. You can see I pulled some extra cards over here. We actually end up at the end here, which you can't see over here, but right here is the last card I put out is the Emperor, and I'll turn the viewer when we get there. Excuse me. But the Emperor's there, and the Empress is here with Abundance at the start of the read and at the end of the read. So, and who, one of them, the Emperor's reversed, but the Empress was upright in this read. Yeah, Reflection, which is the Hermit, Alchemy, which is the Temperance card, Indigo, which is the Magician, and then the Chariot and the Chariot and the Empress were over here. No, I'm sorry, the Chariot and the Emperor over here. Not in the underlying energies, but at the end here, the extra cards I did. As far as the court cards, the only court card in the read was the Knight of Swords. So very significant as far as messages, deliveries. We have the Page of Cups as well. So it's not the only one. The Page of Cups was there too. And we have two nines. They're not court cards, but the Nine of Wands, which is the Wounded Warrior, and the Nine of Cups. That self-satisfaction also came up, which they can represent people. So the Page of Cups and the Knight of Swords. And as far as numbers, we had 4 4s. Really significant there as far as structure and stability. The 4 4s is 16, which is also the Tower. So there could be some destruction that needs to happen in order to create stability. We have the 22 of the Fool, 33 of the Christ vibration, which is also the 7 of Wands, standing up for yourself without getting triggered. The 4 4s, which 4s, of course, stability, and the Emperor, the Home. The 44 of the 4 of Cups, which is boredom, which is time to actually ground and integrate what you've experienced. And also for me, it comes up as Hercules and her harvest. The 4 4 4 is the angelic realms, and then, like I said, 4 4 is 16, which ends up as the Tower in order to create stability. We have 3 4 5 coming up here significantly as the 3D 4D 5D energies. And 9, we had triple 9s as well. So a lot of endings, compassion, the one and all energies coming up here, right? Getting ready for the new cycle. And also in lesser sense, we have the 12 of the Hanging Man, the 23 of the King of Wands, 34 of the 8 of Wands, 45 of the 5 of Cups. We have 55 here too, which is the Ace of Swords. 56 is the 2 of Swords, 67 is the Knight of Pentacles, 78, which is the 10 of Pentacles, and then 89, which is my number for Phi, or the reflection of the human body temperature, 98. And the code line here was all about the number 23, the King of Wands, and the Shear, which came from 14 and 9, which is the Temperance card, and the Hermit, which is also Sagittarius and Virgo. And the code line came up as I am to the nth degree. The number 49 came up here, but also 4 4 squared. Fofo came up, which can be father, spongy, flabby, cute. 4 to be full, packed, stuffed. Father, brother, cousin. The heart to leap, perhaps a dangerous madman. Emotional underneath, forgetful and bound to escape. A digamma or twin flame human, perhaps feeling empty or simple. Perhaps balanced at times, and in aid of high DNA or high C, which can reference the Christ consciousness, to self, or in a flash of light, or perhaps someone's preparing their CV or resume. The person of duty and obligation, the man or grandmother, not even. The 9 and 4 both come up here, which the 9 is the Hermit, the 4 is the Emperor, and food. Acing the 4 of Pentacles, or the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave, and the energy of Phi, which is expanding and contracting, or staying in the middle, reflecting, or a 5e, or fiery 9, which is the Hermit, but also that ending in compassion's energy, the one and the all, to see the key of crystals, or seek one equal and congruent of crystals, which is Christ-like, or perhaps someone purging in cry stalls. The energy of I to the nth degree, the heart, and the energy of the phi and the pi together under extreme pressure to share. The archangels of high seas, and Ev, which is my nickname, but it also means house, which is coming up, the home. It can mean the royal house as well, or sea home, which would reference then Poseidon's coming up. And then 914 came up, so I looked up that number in gematria, and the first entry was weed, so I don't know if someone's been smoking a lot. But Las Vegas is coming up here, the apocalypse encoded, convicted and conscientious, political persecution here, a man of duty and obligation, the grandmother's food, and again Thanksgiving coming up, and perhaps, longing to eat grandma's food, and the hermit under pressure to become something else, the hermit page of pentacles perhaps, which is the perpetual student who sees the crystal keys here. I also Thursday and Friday coming up here as the human, or the one and the zero, right? That fluctuation between 1 and 0, the vibration. A circle of ether with 5-membered ring, 4 carbon and 1 oxygen, or again a liter with 4, and used as a polar solvent, or in other words, to solve polarized energies here, a 5-membered ring. The THF circle of ether of 4C, or 4 of cups, and 10, which is the wheel of fortune or destiny, perhaps 4 aiding the high vibration of Christ, or climbing Jacob's ladder of DNA. And I looked up my name because Ev had come up in gematria for the numbers. And when you look up your name in gematria, you can look down the list to see what other word or phrase matches yours exactly, to see what connection is there. And so when I looked down the list to see if there were any matches besides Evelyn that had the same 3 numbers, what came up was Yaakova, which is Jacob, as in Jacob and the 12 sons. And Jacob's twin was Esau, so he was a twin. And when I looked up Esau, which is also ES, which is my initials, and then AU, which is gold, which that reference to source energy. When I looked up Esau's numbers, Esau matched to USF, which was coming up as, of course that could be University of San Francisco for somebody, but it was also coming up as us and the F, which is digamma, or the twin flames. Jacob is also known as James, another word for that. And also Nintendo 64 sound format came up there. With USF also came up the US forces, to burn, set on fire. Oh, that came up for the word FOAD, F-O-A-D, to kindle or light, ignite, or switch on, set on fire. University of San Fran, or UNICEF, was also coming up. And then us, the US, of course, United States, and the F of digamma, or twin flame energy. 4A, the high C, and then that's where C sharp came up, so I was immediately guided to try C sharp. And I actually had some tones from Sangaya, which I was using today, because I have a lower back injury, which is like lumbar to sacral. So if you have something similar to that, you might want to try C sharp to see if that'll help you heal. 4 knights also came up, and C pounds, so energy of high seas, or rough sea, or then Poseidon again coming up. And the 4 nights, of course, from the Bible, but also 4 nights as in 4 consecutive nights. As the sea pounds in the high seas, perhaps rough seas, and a high seizing of something, a sister could be coming up there as well, or suffering in silence. But the say whale came up, the S-E-I whale, and Z-E as well. And I was just getting seismic earthquakes, so earthquakes are coming up. And there's something else that comes up with that too. And remember, there's always earthquakes going on every day around the world, but we worry about it when it becomes significant, because then it can cause, a lot of damage. But the sea whale was coming up here, as well as the whale, as in wailing C sharp. So to tone C sharp, to help, because your toning will vibrate throughout your body, and then help heal even quicker than hearing outside of itself, because it feels the vibrations. So then also from the code line, SE \N came up. So I looked that up just generally to see if anything came up for that. And then 1, 4 of crystals, and 14 is the Temperance card, but also the 1 of the Magician, the 4 of the Emperor of crystals. And LSS1 was coming up, which is also is and SI, that reflection of itself, Izzy. And when I looked up SE\N, the number of hits that came up for that was 777 million. Searches were done for that, so I thought it was kind of interesting. 777s and then 000. And what came up was the Euclidean group, excuse me, as SE, and in the parentheses, the lowercase n. A group of isometries or isometries, transformations of that space that preserve the Euclidean distance between any 2 points, where that lowercase n equals dimensions of space. E to the nth degree comes up as the special Euclidean group, which is a subgroup whose elements are called rigid motions or Euclidean motions, and they comprise arbitrary combinations of translations and rotations, but not reflections. These groups are among the most studied in dimensions 2 and 3, implicitly long before the concept of the group actually was invented. So going into geometry and just the rules of geometry, stating facts that we now take for granted because we just assume them because we learned them growing up. But these were a list of axioms and things like that from geometry that were stated. The number of degrees of freedom for E with the n in parentheses, and then n with n plus 1, 2 which gives 3 in case n equals 2, or 6 for n equals 3. So in geometry, elements, states, results. Algebra and number theory. Einstein's theory of general relativity is that physical space itself is not Euclidean, and Euclidean space is a good approximation for it only over short distances relative to the strength of the gravitational field. So it doesn't work over long distances, and it's based on what the strength of the gravitation is. So Euclid is basically the estimation or established basic principles of geometry. Euclidean space being the infinite extent along each dimension and constant distance between any pair of parallel lines, any real vector or space on which a real value, inner product, is defined. The Euclidean group being the set of rigid motions that are also affine or affine transformations that preserve lines and parallelism, but not lengths or angles. Preserves ratios of distances between points lying on a straight line. Scaling, reflection, and rotation, things like that. The special Euclidean group is elements called rigid motions, a combination of translations and rotations, like I said already, but not reflection, which we talk about all the time. And then SE with 3 instead of the N comes up as the special Euclidean group in 3D, a group of simultaneous rotations and translations for a vector. So those of you in math, this stuff is over my head. It's not something I'm familiar with, but it might mean something to somebody out there. So the groups represented is almost always, per what it said about, I'm just looking up definitions, right? Is almost always way too abstract to be needed currently. So they don't go back and use these abstractions much anymore. Prefer talking about things like rotational matrices and translational matrices rather than the group elements, or SE to the N. Technically, then they said, was the capital T is in a representation of SE and the 3, not the N, but I'll take what I can get is what they said. So that which solves polarity, going back to the message here, that which solves polarity, a 5-membered ring with 4 aiding the high C, It's like the four knights, supporting the Christ consciousness here. Climbing Jacob's ladder of DNA and Dan, which all three words are the same letters, DNA and Dan. And then we go back to the sons of Jacob, where then I looked up my name, Evelyn, which equals Yaakov, which is Jacob, and Esau is the twin, and USF, or us, the digamma twins, Jacob and Esau, Jacoby and S. Gold were also coming up. So in breaking them down, which was interesting too, because as I wrote Jacob and Esau and then USF, the letters of Jesus were coming up as J, E, S, and then US were coming up in those three words. The digamma twin flames, where then I looked up a lot for the capital T. It was funny too, because the one of the definitions of T is a T-shaped rural part of Pennsylvania between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, which I didn't know that, so it's kind of interesting. And the definitions of Jacob and Esau were coming up as I broke them down as the masculine J, the male swan, and pieces of 8. The tower of El Conquistador, the castle, and the stout horse were also coming up under those definitions. But in resummarizing the code line, the way it came up was to the nth degree, in order to ignite one equal and congruent to the high C or high C's, the rough C's, the SE\N, or abstract special Euclidean group, specialized geometry of translation and rotation, but not reflection, with the man of duty and obligation, the 1-4 of crystals, equaling the N of crystals, or the Christ energy, the Christ consciousness, the patient angel, the Christ of being Christ-like and purging. Jacob and Esau were coming up as the J, male swan, and the E, beautiful girlfriend. Us, digamma twin flames. And then the Phi came up with the backslash as well here, which is that energy of Phi, of expanding and contracting and reflecting in the middle, but also the energy of the F, digamma twin flames, and the I of the chakra system. And then the 9 who see the keys of the crystals here, the 1.618 of the Phi energy, or the golden mean, which mean is also intent, the golden intent of the Hermit Page of Pentacles, the seeker of crystal spiral of 2 instead of 1.618, and the energy of the Queen of Cups coming up here with the 38, which is a 2, it reduces to 2. The 382 came up here. The High Priestess to get from that 1.618 to 2. So, and the difference between them, and it came up as 4.4 times 0.4, which is 1.6 plus 0.018, which is that energy of Chi into life. And 16 and 18 again coming up there with the 1.618 and Phi. And as we talked about the other day, pi and pi's reflection plus Phi equals 8.888, which will also come up again today. So we start this read with the abundance, the Empress here. And beneath that was the 4 of Swords reversed, the 3 of Wands upright, 6 of Swords upright, the 4 of Cups upright, and the 4 of Wands upright. Perhaps prior to that, sharing new information of third-party defense as the King of Cups reversed, perhaps released with the 8 of Swords reversed, to share and get clarity, perhaps about third party or perhaps some bad influences, but feeling defenseless and weak, perhaps unable to rest or sleep, and rising above or awakening, coming out or coming home from the beach, present to flame or to the moment, or being friendly, or a dolphin swim perhaps, presently at peace or gift of peace, on an island to self, the home with the Empress, as the Page of Wands hung out to dry, in need of strength to face the Knight of Swords, delivery or interrogation, as the Page of Pentacles is creating non-stop, with dreams or synchronicities, but without the tools to manifest at 133, which 133 was also coming up in one of the other reads today, as the leap across the Christ consciousness or the 4D bridge. Working on the unknown factors to present the evidence, but not confident, with the Empress upright and the Magician reversed here, and the recent past of the 9 of Wands upright, burdened by foolish behavior or working too hard and getting injured or falling, laying cards on the table and yet withholding from the King of Pentacles, coming clean in a divorce or about their grief, loss, or regret. Perhaps the wounded warrior with Aries in their chart and King of Pentacles with Taurus in their chart. The foundation is the Knight of Swords, perhaps divided in private or split under the radar, as the King of Wands is defenseless or needs no excuse. Or are we dealing with a fiery King of Wands and Page of Wands and the Empress air sign, as Taurus is upright and reversed, Pisces and Capricorn is upright, Leo, Aries, Gemini, or Virgo are reversed. Perhaps the Page of Pentacles has Gemini and or Virgo in their chart, or the Empress is with the Page of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Knight of Swords after the Knight of Swords attacked a pet or Page of Wands upright or wounded warrior, Atlas falls. So the central energy is the Ace of Wands reversed, uninspired or not aroused due to grief of the Knight of Cups perhaps, or with the Knight of Cups upright, offering love, perhaps, or kindness to the King of Cups reversed, with the wounded warrior present, or vacation with the Page of Cups, child, or out in the sun with them. Perhaps definitely Leo and Sag energies at play, as the King of Wands and Page of Wands are both upright, with Capricorn or Taurus. The King of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles are also here. This could be men hanging out with their children as well. Perhaps a Gemini Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Cups is upright with the King of Cups reversed and the Page of Cups upright. Perhaps water signs there, but the father may be angry with them or not doing well here, but the kids are fine. But only Pisces is truly present there in those underlying energies, challenged by the Four of Pentacles reversed, and the Divine Masculine coming out of the Batcave, with the Empress upright moving to peace or watching to leave or traveling for release around the neighborhood or the world, or Pisces and Capricorn waving adios. As the Empress and the Wounded Warrior and the Knight of Swords are all upright, are not amused by the Divine Masculine coming out or fixing things with the Page of Cups, perhaps after a disappointment with new information but still open-hearted, or the King of Pentacles coming clean about sexual energy connection or loss and regret or rejection of the Knight of Cups and their passionate offer, who then turned about and offered love to the King of Cups reversed, Wounded Warrior, who's on guard for visitation with the Page of Cups. So there could be some kind of required escorted visits here with somebody and their children. That could be pets as well. Perhaps the King of Wands is defenseless because he was exposed by innocent Page of Cups, right, out of the mouths of babes. Or the King of Cups reversed is not doing well, so the Knight of Cups and Page of Cups both came to visit after the King of Pentacles, with the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Wands, and the Knight of Swords perhaps actually visiting the Empress, who may be healing and bored. Perhaps for the King of Cups reversed to get a break from their kids. And now crowning is the Page of Cups upright, clear, but perhaps knocked off balance a bit, and broken by the Page of Swords, or news of a losing battle, with the Knight of Wands reversed and the Knight of Pentacles upright, moving forward and destined to be blocked from satisfaction of getting their way after a sudden event, or no choice but to recover at home or come back out of the cold. As Cancer, Sag, and Scorpio are reversed with Libra upright here, what's coming up soon is the Five of Swords upright, the Frog to Prince, Dark Knight to High Priestess or Higher Self, after the Hermit shed light or took pictures of Pisces and Capricorn having or holding light for their arrival, with Scorpio, Pisces, and Virgo all upright, and the Queen of Pentacles with one happy Ten of Cups family needing to do some healing, or perhaps when they're bored they will, or when they have downtime, perhaps grounding and integrating, receiving some loving, as the twin flames are seeing themselves as their higher self upright, perhaps not sleeping, perhaps thinking of things to do or purchases to make. Juggling, performing as the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, both reversed, are under the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community here of the Queen of Cups upright with the Three of Pentacles, perhaps a smaller business. So that could be the Queen of Cups is sitting here between the Ten of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, which can represent a small business and a big business, or perhaps a family business and someone who's involved with both, right? The family and the business. But that can also represent some kind of ceremony of coming together, of co-creating. But there's also backing over here of either a parent company or family or community of wealth or means or abundance right there. So perhaps they're juggling, performing here. We have the King of Swords reversed and the Queen of Swords reversed with that Ten of Pentacles. And then the King of Swords and Queen of Swords with the Two of Pentacles after investing. And then 215 came up, which is the Philadelphia area, so that's coming up twice for Pennsylvania. The Queen of Cups upright here, being between that Ten of Pentacles and Three of Pentacles, with air signs Gemini and Aquarius reversed here, and Pisces and or Virgo upright. Around the twins there, or how they may be seen, and of course when you have the two air signs here, they could be attorneys as well, you know, battling things out without the actual people present. And we have the Seven of Swords reversed at night with pain, dogs howling or feet are, perhaps back pain or a painful ending, or cancer treatment, and they may be on pins and needles here, or just feeling like that with a treatment, perhaps about a bad call or not calling with the Two of Cups upright, soulmate or partner, sharing or settling out, or settlement for pain and suffering might come through here. So the block here is the Nine of Cups. I think someone who could be bored, so they're dumping on justice system or Libra or in court, or overwhelmed. There could even be tears of joy here for justice, or triggered by Libra's or judge's satisfaction, perhaps challenged by or blocked by the divine masculine coming out and being a bit arrogant or happy alone, or coming to work with a message of love from the Nine of Pentacles Virgo, impatient to face their fears, or fallen angel at work or working at home, awaked third party of love to the Emperor reversed and the Six of Cups reversed and the Queen of Wands reversed, who may be uncomfortable not walking away from the situation, as the Page of Cups is at work with Hermit and Sagittarius reversed, or impatiently working to finally surrender to all that is, needing to propose, as the Two of Cups is upright here with the Nine of Pentacles and the Hermit. So it could be a Virgo single person here, or somebody thinks is a catch, in the Mary Magdalene cave, stuck with the King of Wands and the Emperor reversed. The King of Wands is upright, or having to give them a ride, perhaps, with Virgo, Gemini upright, Sagittarius, Gemini, Aries, and Cancer reversed. The King of Wands upright could be getting the word out, making deliveries, or giving rides. And first, the Emperor reversed is with the Hermit or Virgo and the Queen of Wands reversed, Sagittarius, and then the Nine of Pentacles Hermit with the King of Wands after. Lawyers could be fighting over the details. And we have the Empress, King of Pentacles, King of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups are all upright, so they're in good energy. All three Knights are upright except for the Knight of Wands reversed, and all four Pages are upright as well and doing good. So now we're going to get into the masculine message of the day, okay? And it's what? It's 34:20 on the clock. All right, so here's the first one, and this was with the Fortune's Oracle. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not the right one. That was the feminine one. This is the masculine one. Okay, so the masculine starts out with the Fortune's Oracle, and then the Shaman Oracle there. And then the bottom is the Dreams Tarot. So the left is the underlying energies. I usually pull 3 cards, and then any other cards that want to come out organically are used for numerology and to finish off the message. And so here goes. Oh, and by the way, we got the little the buttons you can program for the pets to answer yes and no and whatever you program. So we have a few buttons we're testing with Teddy, and he is hitting the yes button so far, so I'll let you know how that goes. So, I pulled these cards. This was on the 6th at 6:32, 33, and 34 for the Fortunes Oracle, Shaman, and the Dreams Tarot. 32 is the Journeyman. 33 is the Christ vibration, and that's 7 of Wands standing up for themselves. And the 34 is that energetic exchange, or the arrows of love, as the numbers at the end of the piles came up as 111 and 4322. So I looked up 111 in Gematria, which the first entry is good, then cocaine, and then ram. And I looked up 4322 as well, which was, oh, I'm sorry, I did write some other entries for 111. So 111 was good, cocaine, ram, Carl, Mar, as in M-A-R, Cat, Kodak, black, Akasha, Rebecca with K-A-H, Bit, lone. And then I looked up 4322, which first entry was what is June 10th, which actually is my mother's and my grandfather's birthdays. And then the cycle just continues. 2 was I have the Dome of the Rock in my mouth. I have Al-Aqsa Mosque in my mouth, which are related to each other in Jerusalem. The third entry was I heard Jehovah slam the door to the Ark. Christ is here, holy water. And so a lot about the oceans coming up here. And then, let's see here. I ended up looking up my kids' names too, so some stuff came up around that. It was kind of cool because Matthew's name came up. His 13th entry was the one I love is called, and that's the message, the one I love is called. But the numbers that came up, one of the numbers matched mine for Evelyn, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, check that out. See what numbers, what your name matches with other numbers in that same list. Yeah. Okay. So, co-creating and joy of the Fool. The numbers 413, 314, and then 143. So those two came up as pi and the reflection of pi, but then 143 came up again. So I did look up 143, which was rock, frog, hero, them, Colleen, Macedonia, click here, hands, moth, black goo, and Dylan came up. So co-creation and joy of the Fool with 60 and 5D, rock, frog, or hero in the middle. Between the 5D station and instant manifestation, so again the station coming up, in a stay, like as in a death row stay of Neath or ditto, reflecting. The manifestation was just man, and then iffy about this station with Neath, the 2 chakra system with the F or digamma twin flame energy. So in a stay with Neath or a stay with the Tyon, which is source on, or that tiger lioness connection, the Tigris and Euphrates cat. So again, the 2 rivers coming up as the tiger and the lion, that's a Euphrates cat. Where Tigris, the gris is the gray, pig, pork, squirrel, drunk, lipid, flattery, step, stare. And then the Euphrates, the EU was coming up, and Phrates, which is brother, monk, or friar. Egg, one, IU, ego, and anvil. So it was coming up as, it was kind of funny because it's coming up as source or God is the gray, squirrely, fat, drunk pig. And then I was getting the message of flattery will get you everywhere. And then humans are you, the egg, brothers, monks, friars, and it's coming up as the masculine here, because remember this is the masculine read. The ego ones of copper, rating elation or euphoria, but without the aura, which is more natural to the feminine. The tiger and the Frady cat, were coming up as Tony the tiger and Sylvester the Fraidy cat, which there was one episode of Sylvester which is called the Freudy cat, which was done on 3/14/64. So Freudy cat and Fraidy cat both came up. Fraidy cat was an anxiety-ridden cat from the 70s on his 9th life, so he was paranoid that he was going to die. And then Freudy was an episode where a giant mouse was after Sylvester, and so he goes to see Dr. Freud. Also with this Tony, Sylvester Stallone was also coming up, and the Stall of One. And he's got a show on Netflix now, Sly, also, so he's coming up here. But it's very interesting. I did watch some of it, and he's very much a loner in just his personality, you know. He was very disciplined as going into Rocky, which I was kind of surprised about that. But Tony the Tiger was coming up, with Sylvester was coming up, not just Cy or Sly, but also Elvis was coming up there too. So Tony the Tiger as source, and then Sylvester Scaredy Cat, who goes to see Freud, source to show power in the tiger of the source and grrr, right? And then Sly and Elvis stir things up with the path of urgency, or ER, or Silver Esther, who's a quick read or study, which then goes into the feminine. So literally they were listing, you know, God is the gold, G old, the God, the ancient one. Silver is the feminine, and then the copper was coming up as the masculine. And we listed that before too, like God, it goes from the God to the higher self to the Empress as the feminine, which the higher self is the masculine, but in his higher self. As God, and again, you each have masculine and feminine. It's not talking about one person over the other. Tony looks, so here Tony is God, right? Tony the Tiger looks powerful, but is really a happy-go-lucky guy inside. Where Sylvester looks calm, right? Like Sly and Sylvester and Elvis, but they're a mess inside. At 740 is the Chariot and the 40 of the Page of Cups, the underlying energy of the 27 of Proposal, the 54 of the Crossing, the 10 of Justice, and that card looks like Michael Jackson. An opportunity here to cross the bridge with the Ace of Wands, the Page of Swords, Justice, Truth, Balance, Alignment, Libra, and weightlifting. New passion to link up and cross that bridge to another rock and be the one who balances the scales regarding the fish or rockfish, or new passion for Libra, Page of Swords. And again, just imagine the two mountains, and again that bridging across. A new passion to make that link, to cross that bridge to another rock, to be the one who balances the scales, right? To be the better person, right? To step up and take the high road. At 752 is the Chariot and the Queen of Swords. And there's that reference of Lady Liberty again, the underlying energy of the 35 wish, and the heart lit up as the heart squared, the open book. Of the 17 of love, getting your wish, the 33 with the 7 of wands, standing up for the unicorns, reflecting with magic if you just believe, which is interesting too, because I posted on Instagram my strength card today, which is actually not a lion, but the elephant and the unicorn. So you have to check that out. Actually, it was a really good message today, so I would suggest reading that if you'd like to. It's beautiful. But reflecting in magic if you just believe, and then the Magic Kingdom came up. Perhaps Florida and California as well, and Nickelodeon was coming up there too. The 27 of Proposal and WWF, I know it's not called WWF anymore, but that was coming up as well. Proposal of Love and Rings, or the Wounded Warrior, or WWF Star, the Christed Flame to step into the ring, or women's wrestling, or shadow boxing. Ding, ding, ding. And then Stallone came up as the Stall of One, the Path of All One, which is the Stallion, the Stall Lion, and a Loner, the Queen's Gambit, and then WLUP came up as the acronym here, which was a radio station, FM The Loop in Chicago, which I was then getting. I left my heart in San Francisco. I lost my voice in Chicago. The surrender to stardom on the bridge of the chessboard, perhaps, or the drawbridge. the Golden Gate, and what's on the other side. Neuralink was coming up, but also, again, that word of love and its reflection, evolve, with one horn, and there the Italian horn is coming up in Rocky again. With co-RNs, or co-nursing, one is the star and one is the flame. I-73 was then coming up with 3 to 7, loop, and 73 is actually a route from Philadelphia to the Jersey Shore. And 73 is also the 5 of Pentacles, and 3 is the Empress, 7 is the Chariot. But the 37 is also the reflection of 73 and unconditional love of the King of Cups. And the loop came up, which is funny because they still have all of the circular intersections in Jersey. I-73, 3 to 7 loop, the 73 of the 5 of Pentacles, and the Empress to the Chariot. The key boomerang, boo, and then the myrrh of the ocean, and the ANG, which is narrow and constricted nightmare on elm, or the incubus, the IM, the angle, the water basin, the fragrance, or the wood instrument, or bamboo, used to measure grain, or God's rain, with a ray inside. And again, with the incubus comes up, the woman having a nightmare of someone having sex with them, or sleep paralysis, or the need for a masculine here to cut down on wood. The 19 of luck, 14 of judgment, 32 of transformation, lucky proposal of sun, and a wake-up call to a higher love and breaking the chains in transformational journey to then rebuild that bridge naturally. So the open book card came up, so I opened that little black Bible I got in the mail. That little black one, the Bible. And I opened it for the masculine here to page 208 to 209, and then ended up going to page 210 as well, and it was Acts 5. I wasn't sure which part to start, but then I got to page 210, and at the bottom the print got darker at number 38, which is the Queen of Cups. Ananias and Sapphire, the apostles imprisoned. So I went by the numbers of the cards and just by my guidance to see which parts to read. So it's not going to read fluidly. It's going to read, it's more fluidly in the masculine read, but when I get to the feminine, because I opened for the feminine too, and that really was, pieces put together, but the way I was being guided for it to read. So the 12th section here, and by the hands of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people. And then to 29, which is then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. 38 was then, and now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. But we will give ourselves continually to prayer and to the ministry of the word. And that was Acts 6, did I write 6 to 4? No, it was Acts 5, but it went slightly into Acts 6 at the end, I think, or maybe not. Let's see. So then the next card was Celebration, which is number 5, as we had opened to Acts 5, which is the card was coming up that Acts 5 was a gift of light. And then the 10, where I read 10, which is fire in this deck. The 10, I then read in the Bible, those in faith would hear access or have access to the Holy Ghost. Peter accused at that point, and then James was killed through the fire, destined acts as the star 29. So I went to Acts 29, where here is none, because Acts ends on 28, which is that twin flame energy, and then becomes Romans. So that's actually Acts 29 is the chapter of Romans, where Paul heals many and reception in Rome, as the Romans, the epistle of Paul and the apostle to the Romans. So Romans 1:16 was, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is in the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. And then to Romans 16, where Paul's greetings, and then the print got dark at 12, with saluting to Tryphena and Tryphena and Tryphosa, which Tryphena is ancient Greek for softness and daintiness, and Tryphosa is softness and delicacy. Through the gift of light and through the fire, in faith, the gift of the star, Sirius and Lyran, the gift of the light and the fire of urgency is the call home for help. Through Libra and Scorpio, maintaining the knowing of freedom, your little light is to fire as a star is to the Lyrans and Sirius ones. The gift of fire was a wake-up call to home, longing for the light, to not get burned by the 3D environment. The underlying energy of the 56 of the wall and the 46 of the root girl. And this was so cool the way this came up, so listen closely. 56 of the wall, 46 of the root girl, and then the knowing inside the trunk of the tree, which in this card looks like a movie theater with projection coming through. To go back to the root of this little girl as just the root of the tree, right? The disowned self. To go back and get the girl is to go back and get one's self. The crossing, the initiation to the next rock, taking half of your trunk and laying it down for her to cross. That cold little girl shivering in her boots, with growth stunted, calls for the rock to cross over into her portal. After the king of the hill had his lay of the land, the 34s, the back and forth of going back and forth up the mountain until they got to the top of that mountain, or that remembrance, but now inside, projecting on the audience of wood, the remembrance of the little engine that could, that little girl at the root of it all, who never got past the stump and the craziness that grew out of her head. Just a very little trunk between roots and leaves, in child's pose, unable to spread her wings. She would take down her walls, but she has none to begin with. Just an open sore, waiting to be drained, unless someone would not be afraid, or a fraidy cat, to come and lay over them to heal as a bandage. He at the top, and she never left the roost, must meet in the middle, in the movie theater, projector and all, to see the difference between the light and the projection that allows you to see the in-between. The hole in the trunk, and that's that energy of like what I see in the clouds, right? The in-between. The hole in the trunk that allows the light in. The hole in her heart that leaks the light out. The 60 totem of tiger lioness just watching and waiting for the king of the hill to get to the root of the matter and antimatter. The knowing of self through antithesis, or the the C's of the parentheses, the pairing of the C's, parentheses. One arcs one way, and the other must arc the other way, which we all understand is a given these days, until they arch so much that they become the Arc de Triomphe and end the war within. Just 1 second, sorry about that. Okay. So they arch so much until they become the Arc de Triomphe and end the war within. So the numbers from the cards came up 60, 34, 56, 46, and 54. Along with the K of the king, which the K is the line with the arc on it, which is tangent, right? Because the lines touch, which tangent is the tangent or gentleman, and the T1 energy of Neath and ditto. With the triangle in the picture here of the card with the circle in the middle, which the triangle in alchemy is the masculine and the circle is the feminine. And then the Q of the queen, which is conception, right? The circle with the dot in the middle, which is source energy that she's naturally connected to because she gives birth. And then the tail, which connects to the pawn outside of herself. The pawn is Pa's own, as she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, says Father. And until he comes through. He with a wall, but she is fully exposed until he shelters her. The 6D piece, or piece of a puzzle, but both ways, right? To have peace and the piece of the puzzle. The 60 peace in energetic exchange or hours of love with knowing of the 6 of Cups innocence. In no sense should she cross the bridge on her own with no protection. She requires an escort. Court, Sophia's court, and the Page of Swords, the pawn of Sophia's words, and Pa's own. He is the K or king of the mountain, and it hiding inside the Trojan horse. She is the block given at the root so that he wouldn't feel the pain. She was his anesthetic. He in the blue, not in the black, but in a watery way. She in the orange, not the red, as ashy, waiting for an ember to spark. THR is the high road to the nth degree root. God's row, RHO, to God, on the cross. Crossing to the other side, inside out, through and through, I owe you. As in getting from I to you, is the O of human embodiment of Source in the middle of all this, in the sound of his silence, and the ignition of her chaos. The tree that lies down dead across troubled waters and falls is the one that in the spring becomes that rose or risen. With the numbers of the cards 6034564654, the lovers with space in the 3D 4564654, with space to soar and fly for 56, which is the 2 of Swords, and for 65, which is the King of Pentacles, to change and love to change, free to be quiet or all that you can be, in leaving 3D, peace in the 456 for 654 to meet in the middle, at the 5D station, the stat connection of 1v1 and co-creation, where 1v is the 4 and v1 is the 6, and they both cancel out to be the 5 in the middle, 4, 6, or 5, co-creating 1 to 1, as the V is just the one in the middle that splits itself to become the parallel line, the horizontal. That is the one opening all the way to the line, the arc, the bridge, the horizontal, the turning of the key, a quarter turn, but doing the 24 chromosomes dance and being the X or the 8 in the Crazy Eight's dance. The 33 of the Joyful Muse and the 40 bridge of the cello, of the palettes and brushes, and butterfly lashes and glasses, inspired to pull strings and push brushes, the 29 to stand up as the gift, as the horned cactus, who's very resourceful, but also very juicy inside, a sap actually. One is the creative star, and one is the prickly pear, taking the high road and the low ground to bring a message from within to every one. The 48 of Sky Dancers surrender, in the Crazy Eights dancing across the bridge to I'm in heaven, grounded by Hail Marys, those of the sea, waving and throwing salt as you pass over them, like rice creating a threshold at a wedding. Gestalt, more than the sum of its parts, to be in the presence of a human, not just who and man, but the hue of that human, the who from man. So 27, 59, and 47 then came up, which add up to 133, which is that leap to the 33, Christ consciousness, or the 4D bridge. Right down the line came up as a new passion to end the war within through synchronicity and heaven in your eyes, the leap to Christ consciousness, or the remembrance thereof. The 27 of the heart home of compassion or calm passion, the easy path connection of will and grace through the 59 of the wailing tree, that's the 5 of Swords, of reconciliations and reunions within. Can you hear them wail? And as that line came up, the Song of Angry Men came up from Les Mis. Do you hear the people sing, singing the Song of Angry Men? It is the music of the people who will not be slaves again. Sorry, I had to change octaves, but you will hear them wail, the calm wrecks. And again, referring back to, right, Sylvester and as Rocky and Elvis as well. The ones who look really strong and calm on the outside, who are actually the calm wrecks, as the pieces fall into place, as you step back to see the cave and the tree, each on their own mountain, the cave and the tree, or the tower of remembering, as opposed to dismembering, each seeing who they really are, as they naturally magnetize the bridge between them, as the sun rocks to Stairway to Heaven, and as each rock falls into place. At the end, seeing that you were home all along, you just had to wake up and see it for yourself. There was never a gap between you. You just couldn't see the other side of yourself. The sky bridge and possibility for union here. The Queen of Swords, and I got total chills in connection with that last part here. The Queen of Swords then comes up, and the Palace of Swords reversed. A grid on her mind, a net on her head. Perhaps a failed attempt of jumping off the Golden Bridge, as the Golden Gate Bridge came up in the news. As they had created a net for jumpers so that they would get caught, but it would be painful because it's not a soft net, it's a metal net, to try to deter people from doing that. So the Queen of Swords and she's upright, but the Palace of Swords reversed, a grid on her mind, a net on her head, as the Knight of Pentacles or coins comes racing in, faster than usual, as his world began to spin, and he fell into a dream. The Emerald Knight and the Indigo Angelic Lady of the Lake. The Emerald Knight and the Indigo Angelic Lady of the Lake, who has his sword, and he has her ribbons and buttons to sew. A man of two directions, as the chariot pulls them away, to be more discerning and notice all the technology and towers while on the road. He needs his sword back to speak, and she needs her stuff back to sow, harvest, and reap. But he must first climb the towers to disassemble them and take steps to face the shadow men, the ocean vehicles and men on the moon, the Emmys and the Golden Globes and Oscar the Grinch, oh my. A man of faith or hierophant who's disconnected or distant from the Nine of Cups and Three of Cups, celebrations, joy, and happiness, with oneself in separation, falling from status or reputation after the war, with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or perhaps a greedy Taurus at the Palace of Wands upright, where lots of fiery men battle or play games and spar, throwing coins out into the crowd, giving it up to all that is, unable to see her prison on the dark side of the moon, in constant pain, or pins and needles at the gates of hell. Or is that actually a stable home at 1019, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun? And crawling up the walls of the Emperor's castle, the Empress reversed with the Ten of Cups reversed family, and the Knight of Wands reversed fallen angel, or a wicked temper, with Taurus and Saggy reversed and Aries reversed, with foolish behavior and bored. And we know what, the saying about boredom and the devil's workshop, or now grounding and integrating defenselessness to the energies or powers that be, the Star upright and the Hermit upright, or Aquarius and Virgo, or Star hermiting, or famous recluse with new information and getting clarity, as the King of Cups is frustrated with the presence of gifts, or on the dock of the bay, or on the clock here, dreaming of a boat or ship that will magically come in, perhaps when pigs fly, or Miss Piggy does, as the world is upside down, or Pisces reversed, or a 5D message of the Page of Swords and the Page of Cups both upright, or two pages sharing in a turn of events, or spin of the roulette wheel, or Libra reversed and the Palace of Cups reversed, with a flood of emotions, and one or many big blocks, or dams at 1028, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Wands, or Twin Flames. In a heated exchange, the wounded warrior must surrender to, as the Ten of Pentacles is upright with the Queen of Wands reversed on the other side, in a nightmare, or sister, or suffering in silence and stressed out, with Evil Magician or Gemini reversed and King of Wands upright, needing strength for a final judgment, as Leo reversed and Aquarius is upright with the Six of Cups reversed and bad memories or haunted until they fix things, but then at the same time overwhelmed, with the Page of Wands reversed, that little devil incarnate, or detoxing, the Palace of Coins reversed. Now the worst is over, with bliss and heaven in their eyes, of the King of Swords upright, who may be out in the cold, but with justice on their side, or Libra upright, or MJ, lifting weights and or working at a soup kitchen, perhaps though with a phobia about touching things, or a problem with bad smells that make them want to vomit. Perhaps a wound of homelessness is there, with the Knight of Swords reversed and no delivery, or lashing out by lifting weights, or doing metalwork, or going silent to create, or go from Michael Jackson to a master of weights and measures, or kung fu fighting, flash dancing, or flash mobs, a thriller perhaps, preparing by getting into shape or lifting with the heavyweights, channeling words into something else, to not scatter energies and thus create something special, to invest in or implement a plan, or cutting a tree down to get to the Knight of Cups reversed, with air and water both reversed, and earth filling in between them, filling in a hole, bridging two knights, perhaps Libra upright and Scorpio upright, or falling asleep on the job, with nightmares from Elm Street, or Grim Reaper of snakes and Monty Pythons, versus men of fireballs, or great balls of fire, or drained Atlas, or Leo reverse, risking death through the fire as the hanging man rises to hold up the sky on their tippy toes, or laser guy in Cirque du Soleil, who's out of options, in great need of peace, in child's pose, as the wounded warriors burdened by that 10th wand, the straw that breaks the camel's back. And yet Atlas does it for the Queen of Cups reversed, High Priestess, the hanging man, the rising man, and his grieving widow, Hercules, her harvest, to give Atlas a break, her harvest as he works diligently to discover what's missing, as the truth will set him free, to be the Page of Coins, student of life, with divine lover unable to rest, awakening and coming out to the King of Pentacles, but powerless, or with a dependent perhaps, or Gemini between the Page of Pentacles and King of Pentacles upright, and the Nine of Pentacles reversed, or lovers breaking up the family, as the hounds of hell seek to pull down the tree of life, unclear to its survival, and getting over loss or regret after a sudden event, or constant drama of Cancer upright and Scorpio reversed, off the wounded warrior's path, and on to the fool's journey, at last, at 10:59, literally at the 11th hour. So that was the masculine. So now we're going to the feminine read. So here's the feminine read. All right, so we have the Fortune's Oracle at the top, and then the Journey of Love, and then my combo deck of Lenormand, Reverie, and the Kipper decks together, and then the Rider-Waite there at the bottom. And here we go. And Sea of Love, I haven't watched that movie in a long time. I watched that last night, so that song Sea of Love was also coming up. Come with me, my love, to the sea of love. I want to tell you just how much I love you. All right, so we go into the feminine read, which starts at, this was yesterday, this was today. And I pulled the cards at 12:46 for the Fortune's Oracle, which is the Six of Cups, and the 12 of the Hanging Man. 47 for the Journey of Love, which is the Seven of Cups. Lenormand Kipper was 51, which is the King of Swords, and the Rider-Waite at 52, which is the Queen of Swords. All right, so the innocent children with heaven in their eyes, and then maturing and becoming their adult selves as the 51 and 52, the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, and also Lady Liberty and Ellis Island, and the 12 of the Hanging Man, or the 1 and the 2 of the masculine and the feminine. So the numbers came up at the end with the piles as 1111, which the first entry in gematria for 1111 is twin flames. And then 32717 also came up. And again, this is for the divine feminine. The twin flame journey of 717, which I looked up in gematria, and the first entry for 717 was CIM, surrendering all. And then Stinkle is on the bank, came up. And it's funny because Jenna calls Teddy stinky pants. I forget what she calls him. But then the third one was the triumph of God. And then I went to 7, which is the last president. 8 was she is the heir to it all. 9 is the copyright. 10 is Tesla, dead dog, fly. And then I also looked up 327, which came up in the numbers, which was Reuben, Alexa, Prince of Peace, 83 or 83. Snickers, Ophidian snake, 38 or 38. King of Israel, Bob is the god. Clippers, Golem, XIII, which they used the lowercase i's. Dixie, I am Groot, which was coming up as God's root, which is actually a Dutch word, Groot, which has to do with being large or big or important, heroic, adult. Again, that energy of growing up. Sorry. So, let's see what else came up. There was one entry that came out, the 18th entry for 327, because then I went to Groot was the 14th entry, and then 15 was Contender, and then Dunbar. 17 was the Omega Plan. 18 was Ignorant. 19 was all these dad stuff. Dad, add times 10. D, dad, D, add times 8. A, dad, D, add, A. Dad, D, add times 4. A, dad, D, add times 3. A, D, add, A, D, add, A, D, add. So there were 71 syllables there altogether, but lots about daddy, okay? So the twin flame journey, the bringer of good news, to see I am, surrender in all. Co-creating in transition to 717, the triumph of God, the chariot and the star, or the 3 of Pentacles and the chariot, co-creating on the road, which equals an ascending star. The twin flames and the Prince of Peace, 83 and 38, the King of Israel, I am Groot, God's root. Grand, X111, the 24th pair, and 3 chakra systems, 13 or 8 times 8, without 3 exclamation marks, which was coming up as 64, I, as the 1 equal and congruent to the E, but face down, where the E falls down and becomes the M, basically. The 10 of Swords reflecting I, 46, or not facing the 6 of Cups. Or then it came up as, the reflection of that came up as this here, which looks like, again, Mr. Ed coming up here. All right, so Ed coming up here. But also the energy of EN, lowercase en for me is JC. So JCL, or Ed's protege, was coming up here. But it also comes up as the sine wave, with the E being a loop on the sine wave, and then the L being a line on the other end of the sine wave. The spiral and the arc, the sphere and the plane of existence. The bridge from sphere to sphere, which is the dash in the middle. The 100-yard dash, which is 91.44 meters. The 91 being the central sun, right? It's the reflection of the 19, which is the sun. The 44 of her harvest. And the sprint, So the sphere is Sophia's fears, and the sprint is Sophia's print. The OO of 100 dash from here, not to there, but from here to here. If aphoresis is taking away, suppression or complete loss of letter or sound from the beginning of a word, like special, that is coming from S special, or phoresis coming from aphoresis, the removal of blood to clean or extract that which it no longer needs or is not good for it, right? Useless like a silent vowel or letter. But you take away the arm of the body, the etheric body still remains. Its resonance remains. So you can't take it away. It's still there. The sound of silence in the auric field, the AU of gold, and God the Ancient One cannot be denied, no matter how hard you try to get rid of it. You filter and filter and filter, and the source will still remain. Groot, or God's root of spheres, Sophia's spheres, or is that hears? I was just getting hearsay. At 141, which is that one for all and all for one energy, Sophia is Sophia hears, right? So see, the A and the O are both humans, but the A just has connection on it with the tail. So Sophia hears and dashes to hear again, over and over, the sound of 1,000 violins of enlightenment. The phi in fears of P and then HI, P high, the ear that hears or is here, which is HERES, is her S, Sophia. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Sophia, wisdom, the sine wave, and 2 crystal O's or human embodiments of source with phi between and a tail in the end. That is Sophia. 2 crystal O's of 3.14 and 4.13 with 1.618 between, which equals that 8.888. And this came up the other day, so you can watch my other videos about the 8.888. Between, and you can look on my Instagram as well, between the sine wave and the tail reaching out to touch someone. So someone is so me. And remember, me came up as God, one of God's names. And someone is so me, one, the O of the human, anyone, signing a wave, infinite inner power, abundance, flow, resurrection, the 8th day. 8 is where 2 sine waves meet and greet, meek and Greek, at the point of 0, going inward exponentially, 888, 1/10th, 100th, 1,000th. I can't say that. Destined one human to become one as 2 humans, and then one as 3 humans of 1,000 suns, always a 1 above them and 1 below, as 1/10th, 1/100th, and so on. 1 above them and 1 below, with source support increasing as you go, to the light of 1,000 suns, where light is the L-ite, 1-ite, or 000s is all right. I own, I have, possessed the light of 1,000 suns. Sophia's the U and the lowercase n is the Holy Grail, and the unholy grail, right? The Holy Communion of dumping something into the cup. The Holy Communions of 1,000 and spheres. 3 ships in 1. Earth, Terra, Gaia, or ether, heart, and Aegea, or Aegea. Ether, heart, and Aegea, to breathe, the heartbeat, and to act, do, function, perform, conduct, to be about and deal with, fire, atas, or atlas without L. To put at ease, accommodate, or agia, which equals AGA, which equals morning, Lord, discipline, the canoe, or the snotty fish with distance and period of time interval. The 100-yard dash, that dash or space between, the horizontal line, from 2 U's to 3, always with 1 at your side. 1-0-0-0, which is 1,000, right? If you combine the 101010, you get the 1,000 with the line through them all, which is salt, salt, salt. Evelyn salt. The fresh pie becoming the salt of the earth. Salt of the earth is coming up as SE, which is usually like a sudden event or southeast, where salty ocean meets the fresh river, and an island gets between them. Salt goes down and around, and the fresh goes up in the air, creating a turbulent vortex of power to clean the water and provide free energy. The 100-yard dash to 2, A, which is 1, 000, which is 1,000 suns, of Sophia's ups and downs and in-betweens, the U and the N of the Holy Grail and the Calm Union, which are the signposts along the way. 111132 Instead of completing the set, the bird flies horizontally to the concept of the Queen's Gambit, the pawn, the page turning or shifting, 717. 2 boomerang keys, right? Remember the boo, and then the mer is the ocean or the water, and the ANG is the narrow angle of the water basin, which is like the island between the 2 bodies of water. The narrow track or angle of the water basin, the water bamboo 2, the 2 boomerang keys of measuring grain, God's reign, of you and I in a nightmare or incubus, or a scary sea where 2 meet and shift in the middle, 2 keys in 1, or a Florida room at 221, which is the higher self or high priestess, divine feminine, and the 21 of the world. And then at 222, which is the guidance counselor show of the 2s, the 1-1, the 22 of the fool with an open heart and a leap in his step, and the 222 of 6, which is love. The underlying energy of the 11 of flowers, the 24 of the spaces between the words, and the 1 of the main male, and the page of swords, 54, of justice, truth, balance, and alignment. A line meant is 1 arc, intent, of flowers. The 24th pair of chromosomes of the Queen of Wands, which is Omega, which is Om-ega, the divine feminine ego, in the dashes between the 1s and O's, between the words, and that leap equals, adding the L to words is worlds. So adding that leap to the word becomes the worlds of the magic main male. Libra flowers or flowers in the spaces or circles between the 1s or vertical pillars of Virgo Gemini messengers, mercurial messengers, and the main male, the God source and his main dogs, equal to Sophia God, the soft side, spreading the word, which word, by the way, adds up to 24 and 60 if you use the whole numbers. 2 U's, or that letter D of divine sea spinning, which is a given that there is no one without the other. An axion of algebra, aligning with the spaces between to come out whole and one, with a message to bring at 232, which is the route around here to go to New Hope. The 232 is also the divine feminine higher self and the journeyman. The underlying energy of the moon, of the 21 world and 34 of unity, 31 of thorns, 22 mountain, 33 unicorn, and 11 flowers. The divine feminine and divine masculine, moon, M-O for Mary Magdalene and the O-N for Jesus Christ. The 2 humans, Mary's MO and Christ's on, two humans between M of co-creation and N of that Christ energy, right, of the Christed human, that higher self, or the co-creation of Christed humans. Nama, mana, mana was coming up. Mana, mana, ba, ba, da, da. So the Muppet's coming up, but ma, nama, na. Mother's name, na. Mana is the magical power of man, a blessing to inherit and swallow. A place, pardon, water, sign, miracle, wonder, antidote, death, so be it. To rebuke, a piece of meat, religious power. To dare, role-playing, which, where, supernatural motto, outlook, mother. To encourage, urge, nose and hand, house and mind. To magical powers, divine authority, heritage and flaws. A spring of water, an heirloom, inheritance, respect, meaning, and tale. Nama is name, and tea tree. Now, father, to be good. Wild animal, title, fame, epithet. Number, us. Flesh, to be flexible. To tease, flower, now. Today, wall, soup. I don't know if it's soup or soap. Rescue, save, protect, defend, and escape. The divine feminine and divine masculine romance, whole, in energetic exchange are hours of love, of unity, of hand-folding, and weathering the thorns of chaos to get to the 22 5D stationing at Shasta, and is it Kailash? I always forget the name of the Tibetan mountain. 22 to 33, unicorn and shadow bridge of collective consciousness, flowers or flowers, the whole world climbing that mountain together with an open heart and a leap of faith to stand up energetically and be shadowed across the bridge to the 6D 11 instant flowering manifestation. From 5D station jumping off point to 6D manifest or manif, a public declaration of intentions without the stow, without the store, without the 100, without the stance, stay, cost, without the stealing, without a herd of mares and stallions all tromping out, right, to the voting booths, without a bunch coming to the table, without the collective intent. Without the bunch coming to the table, the collective intent automatically, instantly manifests a celebration of unicorns as flowers or flowers blooming, the daughters romancing of the stone here, with 14 of judgment, 17 of love, and 8 of the dragonfly equaling 39, which is the Knight of Cups, plus the 11 in the underlying energy equals the 50 of emotional fulfillment, the 10 of Cups. So I opened a book, because the card came up again, to jump off the pages on Judgment Day, today on Voting Day, of Libra, Saggy, Aquarius, and Leo, as well as Capricorn and Cancer. So I went into the Bible again and opened for the feminine here to page 146 to 147 in St. Luke, chapter 20 of Judgment, and the tribute to Caesar and poor widow commended. 11, 14, and 17. So I read those passages. So here I really skipped around. I was just being guided to read just that little section and then go on to the next, and that's the way it's supposed to read. And again he sent another servant, and they beat him also, and entreated him shamefully, and sent him away empty. And then 14. But when the husband, man, saw him, or when the husband or men saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, this is the heir, come let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. To 17. And he beheld them, and said, what is this then that is written? The stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner. And then I went back to the 8th section, which is Jesus said unto them, neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. And then I was guided to chapter 21 and number 8 again. And he said, Take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. And then what I wasn't being guided to read was the section all about what will come, right? The wars, the earthquakes, the famines, pests, fearful sights, persecution, and betrayals that you will experience like he did. And then the 14th section, which is, do not meditate before what ye shall answer. 17, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. And then back to 8 again. And he said, Take heed that ye shall not be deceived, for many shall come in my name. The time draweth near, so ye therefore not after them. So then at page 148 to 49, which is where Jerusalem to fall and priests conspire, to chapter 22 and then 8, where he sent Peter and John saying, Go and prepare us the Passover, that we may eat. 15, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. 28, when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. 22:7, then cometh the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. And it continues into the Lord's Supper. You know, this is my body, with the bread you eat. This wine is the blood shed for you. My betrayer here at the table. And then from the book and binding comes love, judgment of a higher love, of stars and dreams come true, of dragonflies, 2 hearts as one and a beautiful mind, and the 15 of the skeleton key to all the locks undone, with the 28 of the snake and the 7 of crackerjacks with a ring inside, the key to excite atoms on the eve of independence and New Year's, with 15, 28, and 7, which also equal 50 here, and the happy family in Cancer cometh. So 81, 52, and 87 then came up with these numbers as well, which 81 is the completion of the cycle of karma, 52 is the Queen of Swords, and 87 is the reflection of 78, which comes up in the numerology deck as synchronicities. Co-creating with Saint Germain, and the King is coming, as the cycle is complete around the world in 80 days, or 80 days around the world plus 1. The 52 of the Queen of Swords, Lady Liberty, and the 87 reflecting 78, Heaven on Earth, as synchronicity. The underlying energy of the 13 and gifts received, the 47 of soft, the 24 of the spaces between the words, transition choices, synchronicities to crown, with the Queen of Wands, Omega, or that feminine ego, in the spaces between. 13, 4, 7, and 24 were coming up as the 72 inside the 4 and 4. The 72 is the 4 of Pentacles. Between 4 and 4, the 2 lambda leaps, transitioning the 72 by 2s as 4s. The 32, 8, and 45 then came up as the devotion to the small and the dance of the yin-yang lover, healing the wounds, purging to release the hidden beauty underneath, bending over to tend to the small, and then bending over backward to clear the vortex, and then just spent, not quite in child's pose, to see the beauty at the root of all this goodness. The Queen of Wands' journey of strength within, the 30 and 38 of the union of towering magnificence in the pearl threaded of the Queen of Cups. The Divine Feminine needing to see the magnificence of her creation in just connecting each pearl of wisdom and each sweet heart. As the underlying energy at 337, which is the Empress and the King of Cups, the 22 of the official person, 19 of the coffin, 36 of the 6 of Wands cross, and the 38 of the twin bridges to cross, and then the 1 of the main male. The 5D station manager of the Sun's tomb, and I was getting King Tut there, The Atlas at the intersection, and I was also getting resurrection, of the Six of Wands journeyman with map of intent on how to get across the rickety bridges of the Queen of Cups to the main male. The 22 5D station to the 19 Sun with map of quantum detanglement of the Queen of Cups and the main one, the Queen of Cups +1. The Sun through Atlas and the Queen of Cups to rebirth as the number 1 main male. The magic magician of Gemini and Virgo. And then the first card out was the 15 of the pushy polar bear, or cold at the poles, as main male pushes their way through to 28, the twin flame expecting, in Capricorn bear, having a bear of a time, with the 10 of Wands Atlas burden to get through the ice. Gemini Capricorn or Virgo to Capricorn, or January 15 to the 28, as family, and that can be 2/8 as well, February 8th, as the family room is all cleaned up, perhaps a surprise waiting, but both ways. A surprise at the house for one who's coming, and a surprise for the host with unexpected visitor with them. Either way, the house wins. 1, 15, 28, and 21, which the first 4 add up to 44, which is her harvest, and Hercules, and then plus the last card is 65, which is the King of Pentacles. 44 to 65, Hercules to the King of Pentacles, her harvest to the King of Pentacles. 37 with the King of Cups and clocks. 22 is the stairs, the King of Cups is clocks, is 37. 22 comes up as the Fool's stairs, the 36 as Atlas's ship, and the 5 as the Hierophant's Atlas, about ownership. 3 keys of 5D stationing with ship coming in, and mature man looking for a place to land around the globe. As timelines collapse in the stairway to heaven, the Queen of Pentacles and distant horizons, and mature man mapping out their destinations at 350, which is the Empress and that happy family. 351 with the King of Swords, with 14, 34, and 41, which is the energetic exchange of the arrows of love between the 14 and 41, all for one for all and all for one. With Gemini or Virgo, Capricorn, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and Sagittarius here, and the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, the Magician, Devil, World, King of Cups, Fool, and the Hierophant, with a message of concern and well wishes, with Pisces and or the King of Pentacles between, Sagittarius and Water of a higher love, and the King of Cups Fool with intentions to get there, and sending emotional well wishes, and digging deep, one for all and all for one, which are 5s, 2 free with arrows of love between them. The underlying energy of getting over a loss, with the 5 of Cups reversed, at work destined and detox, with Libra upright and Capricorn reverse, breaking chains in need of peace, with a choice of path or twin flame working on the other end, with the Ace of Pentacles upright and offer to the Page of Cups, with Libra and Aries reversed, or injustice in the fall from grace or falling on face, or child receiving a settlement here, or the Page of Cups feels that what they have to offer is pure but unequal to the Ace of Pentacles that the other is offering them. Perhaps they're embarrassed or embarrass themselves in front of the Emperor upright, with stress or lack of sleep, and the feminine can be coming up as the Emperor here actually, with stress or lack of sleep, in the 2 of Cups reversed, disconnect or distance under the radar, with the Queen of Cups reversed, satisfied, ending pain or in a painful end, or giving a message or massage to lover, or bittersweet divine lovers out in the cold being strong, as Aries North Node taking over, as Gemini and Leo are upright but in exile, or perhaps dealing with an injury or illness. Taming the beast with the High Priestess reversed and Temperance reversed. Secret passion losing patience, or Pisces or Virgo reversed and Saggy reversed, Queen of Pentacles upright here, working hard to tunnel through, ending a physical cycle of family dissatisfaction, of lack of fulfillment, as the Ace of Cups is offered here to them from their presence, or a gift left by dark night, who perhaps left it and left. They didn't wait for the door to open. Or Scorpio sends their love, but they have to work or get their ducks in a row, settling up or settling out to be released and needing to heal, with the Queen of Wands reversed, apologizing or forgiving, recovering from a procedure, and perhaps very well, or Sun on vacation with Hierophant, establishment, religion, or Leo and Taurus, or with their blessings. The Knight of Cups upright leaves to go to the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, to see the Nine of Pentacles catch, or perhaps in their own independence, to start over without excuse, or defenseless, the Knight of Wands reversed, who fell short of the Six of Cups reversed, or falling out between the Knight of Wands reversed and the King of Wands reversed, due to deception of the Empress reversed mother, or Cancer and Taurus reversed, or the Empress reversed causing delays or blocks with constant arguing and or tossing out emotional attachments, perhaps that aren't hers, of the Knight of Swords reversed, who may be then pissed, or all her dreams dashed and destabilized by a move, a trip, or a visit, or an unstable home, now complete, or Pisces or Divine Feminine or neighbor come full circle here with the Hanging Man, Pisces and Capricorn, or Divine Feminine and Pisces or Capricorn upright with Scorpio reversed, or Pisces or Divine Feminine hanging out, resisting sudden change, to come clean, or to have time to get cleaned up, or clean up the space or the house or the act. For the King of Swords offered new passion by the King of Pentacles reversed in a message or through a child, the Page of Swords stepping it up with the King of Swords upright, or perhaps with both the King of Swords upright and the King of Pentacles reversed. At 4:15 then, which is tax day, and then Matthew coming up, the Five of Swords is upright with the Page of Swords upright, with backing up to face their fears in case they need to walk away at the time they present something to someone, or taking a break to go within, or knowing when to walk away. The Two of Swords reversed is here to gain clarity, or there is new information, with the Queen of Swords reporting from the 5D station to one assessing their worth, like a fairy godmother, to the Divine Feminine reaping rewards and deciding if it's worth, and then the Knight there to move forward, the Knight of Pentacles, I think, or to know if they need to move forward. There's a breakup here, or perhaps car with issues, and divided on what to do, as the wounded warrior is on guard or defensive, not wanting to let go of the old. Perhaps the King of Pentacles reversed went with the Page of Swords to add passion or creativity to the Page of Swords' offer to the King of Swords, but knowing where to draw the line and walk away, whereas the child or the Page of Swords wouldn't know what to do in that sense. This could be like an adult escorting the child to make their plea to the King of Swords, so that they know when to walk away into that good night, with clarity for the next time, as the Queen of Swords explains or discusses what they can do, or what they can get for Seven Pentacles. Perhaps with used cars, there's always an unknown factor, making it very difficult to let go of the old. As the Page of Pentacles reversed needs help to sleep, or with awakening to fighting or conflict, or the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Wands are both battling for their attention, but neither called first, or maybe neither called at all, and needing to heed the call. Perhaps if the Page of Pentacles reversed won't do it, there are others waiting that can call. Juggling with the Magician, or for tricks, the Whistleblower working next to the Magician or Gemini or Virgo, holding on to the King of Cups reversed, or keeping their cards close to their chest, with the King of Cups reversed about coming together in joy or happy hour, as the Hermit sheds light or advice, or keeps light on for them when they get home at night. With Cancer, Aquarius reversed, Gemini and Virgo upright, perhaps kids' sports or competition for work, lots of swords and communication here, as the Page of Swords and the Queen of Swords divide and conquer to get it done, or the King of Cups reversed may have to go to the doctor, or bring together Magician and the Hermit. Perhaps the Queen of Swords, divine feminine, and the King of Cups reversed, divine masculine. But if they juggled together, they would be the magician and the advisor. Perhaps the Queen of Swords upright and the King of Cups reversed are both trying to get the divine feminine and divine masculines out of the house. With Libra, Queen of Wands, main male, Page of Swords, Gemini and or Virgo, opening a new chapter, nurturing with mother's protection, a dream love, with 17-8 as yin-yang lovers meet 28 and within, the dance of the 8, 2 as 1, grieving an empty house or coming full circle with new information and clarity, but perhaps knocked off balance. Balancing paths of Capricorn and Cancer and the Kundalini as the unicorn with the Queen of Cups, and as the King of Cups reversed, who is late for a very important date or dash, one for all and all for one, as Lady Liberty messages to Ellis Island to take his post, to watch and wait, as something big is about to play out, quite entertaining, like magic, joy and wisdom, love and light at 4:38, which is that 4 of the Emperor or Lambda Leap and the 38 of the Queen of Cups. So there you go. So let's pull a message of love, since this was a long one, and see what comes up after all of this. And thank you, iPod, for not, or iPad rather. I keep saying iPod, so the pod's coming up a lot. But thank you, iPad, for hanging in there with me. All right, new love is coming up here at the bottom here. All right, for the twin flames here. All right, that one flipped right out. Stability. This relationship can stand the test of time. Support. Lean on your inner circle at this time. And warning, don't dismiss the red flags here in a leap of faith. It's safe to make the move you're considering. Twin flame. This is a divine counterpart connection. And one last card. Detach with love to clearly see the truth, right? Knowing when to walk away, right? When you're out of balance, right? When someone's stepping on your toes or you're stepping on theirs, knowing where that point is. And then new love, and new love or recommitment to love is developing in this or from this process. The bottom of the deck is time apart. Some distance will help bring clarity, but this is what's going away, okay? So again, stability, support, and don't dismiss the red flags. Walk away when you need to. In a leap of faith, that's safe to make the move you're considering with your twin flame. This is a divine counterpart connection. But remember to also detach with love to clearly see the truth, right? When you're not feeling it there. And then the new love, which then comes in and recommitment to love that is developing in this process. So you're actually getting real, true life instructions now, which is pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to let you go. Remember, as always, to drink your water and get your rest, your joy in your nature. Get your feet out there in the grass or hug a tree, or maybe a salt bath as it gets cold as well. Meditation. But remember to speak your truth before your meditation, to trust your direct connect in your general conversations, right? Trust your own knowing. And as always, rise and be love. I will see you next time. Have an amazing one, guys. Bye.